Hello and welcome to Top Class, where we take a look at the major happenings in education for the first term of the academic year 2017-2018. My name is Final Neptune. We are at the newly built Dennery Infant School. This beautiful structure was built from funds secured from the World Bank under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project DVRP. So stay with us as we review Term 1 2017-2018. The new school term began with the government of St. Lucia officially opening the newly completed Information Communication Technology ICT Access Center for the community of Mikud. The construction of the Access Center and provision of computers were funded by the Republic of China Taiwan to the tune of some 2 million EC dollars.
Not only do we speak to the e-needs or the e-skills required of our citizens today, but that we provide them with a space where they can develop their creativity, and that we could see a shift from a culture of downloaders to an emerging culture of uploaders. Simply to equip citizens with machines will do little to position them to leverage the emerging technologies for social and economic advancement, to enhance their employability, and to channel their creativity into commercialized outputs.
The South Louis Community College announced its new student loan partnership with the First National Bank, aimed at bridging the existing financial gap students face each year.
This arrangement that we are entering in with First National Bank is very important in that regard because it opens up opportunities and doors for our students and potential students who may not be able at this juncture in their career to afford to come to the college.
Part of the Ministry of Education's first to integrate technology with instruction within the classroom received a shot in the arm with the visit to St. Lucia by a specialist from the Commonwealth of Learning. Dr. Alison Richardson, who specializes in technical vocational education and training (TVET, paid a courtesy call on Minister for Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, the Honorable Dr. Gail Rigobert. The reading levels of all learners from grade K to grade 3 were being improved through the OECS Early Learners Program (ELP). The Dame Paulette Lucie Primary School is one beneficiary of this reading development program.
ELP helps a teacher to plan better in the area of literacy, setting a stronger foundation for the children at that level to learn better. Another benefit is that the teacher can plan language arts lessons to help deal with the issues that we are faced with in the area of language arts or literacy. Another benefit of ELP is involving parents where the child's learning is concerned.
The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations launched the Education for Democratic Citizenship (EDC) program, aimed at empowering and educated children to exercise their democratic rights and responsibilities.
It's an educational activity to help the students to become active, informed, and responsible citizens. It refers to the status of being a citizen and a member of a particular political community. So we educate persons about their rights and, more importantly, their responsibilities. Okay? And it pays special attention to involvement in public life and affairs, from voting, right, to standing for, going up for political office, etc., etc.
Over 140 preschools from across the island benefited from the donation of packages of high-quality learning material designed to stimulate and support their development. The packages were provided by the Coconut Bay Beach Resort and Spa under the Cocoland Little Leaders program.
It's a common desire that we all go for a stable and peaceful society, and early childhood education is proven to be geared towards that. So that's why programs like this, they're smart, and it's an economical way to achieve these ideals.
An overall culture of safety is being fostered in schools on the island as stakeholders met to determine the strength or lack thereof of school infrastructure on the island. Officials in disaster preparedness and school safety undertook a vulnerability assessment of a number of schools as a means of providing training for educators in determining their weaknesses, physical or otherwise, to help make them safer and stand as models for school safety on the island. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations embarked on a new initiative to create and promote lifelong learning opportunities for higher education for school leavers. The hashtag Educate St. Lucia initiative kicked off with a college and career readiness program aimed at the youth with the goal of preparing them for higher education and career development and advancement. Over 1,000 students are expected to sit the ACT examination.
ACT program is to assist as many students in St. Lucia's to be able to gain a composite score, to gain admittance, and to be scholarship eligible. One distinctive difference between the ACT and the SAT is that students will be able to get a STEM score. So in one exam, they'll get a composite score and a STEM score, which is the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics component, so that those students who would like to go into those STEM fields, they don't have to take additional exams.
The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations and the Theatre Arts Schools Association, TASL, continued to work closely together as to develop theatre arts on the island. Members of the Theatre Arts Schools Association met with the Deputy Chief Education Officer for Instruction, Rufina Charles, in an effort to foster closer relationship and chart the way forward for theatre arts in schools. Special education practitioners and their support staff got a better understanding of what it means to safeguard children with special needs, particularly in the areas of abuse or neglect.
We're looking at neglect. There are some people who have the mindset that if a child has special needs, what's the point in putting a lot of effort into this child? And it comes across as that this child is not as valuable as other children.
The Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET unit of the Division of Education continued its drive to increase awareness about training and certification programs available. The TVET unit hosted a workshop where principals, district education officers, and teachers around the island were granted the opportunity to make meaningful contribution as it relates to TVET development and delivery at the schools. More St. Lucians are on the right path to attaining a rewarding career in the field of information technology through the CompTIA certification. The achievements of IT professionals who successfully completed the CompTIA certification program was celebrated as the National Skills Development Center, NSDC, hosted a graduation ceremony.
So we're saying that, even before our trainees are certified, just before they're certified, knowing that kind of certification, international certification, the employers are already asking for these trainees. And, this is something that we believe that all establishments who are into training must do, to put them on apprenticeship, let them prove themselves, and then the organizations keep them.
Locus Hope, the world's largest floating book fair, returned to St. Lucia after 8 years. St. Lucians were granted the opportunity to meet the international crew and purchase books at affordable prices. In the term under review, primary school principals around the island were encouraged to develop practices for gender equality within the school setting. And though an infant school, this approach will also be strengthened here at the Dennery Infant. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations took an aggressive approach to sensitizing principals about promoting and mainstreaming gender neutrality in the school environment.
This is very critical for us because we know the gender debate has been a very controversial one, and we also know that the beliefs and the thoughts of our administrators are very important in what happens in terms of the policies that guide the various schools. So what we want today is some kind of introspection so that they can look at their own practices at their centers and see what areas that they want to change so that they can promote a gender-neutral environment.
Young people around the island were awarded the opportunity to engage and develop innovative computing applications that addresses everyday problems for an app development competition. The Reunion Primary School was chosen as the winner of the pilot phase of the Yapafront program. The school received its award at a small presentation ceremony. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations aimed to improve student performance in mathematics in District 3 following the hosting of a mathematics symposium. The symposium allowed teachers the opportunity to develop the necessary strategies and methods for improving the teaching and learning of mathematics among students.
We need to cater to the needs of this generation of learners, the technological learners, if we call them that. With all these dynamics of mathematics instruction in mind, today's seminars cover a span of topics, and I urge one and all to extract as much as possible from the sessions for future application. Let us all adopt a reflective approach to instruction and practice knowledge and skills acquired today with the ultimate goal of witnessing and experiencing continued improvement in performance and attitudes among learners and educators.
The Cyrus Simmons Secondary School celebrated 25 years in operation and marked this milestone for a number of activities. The school held an award ceremony to honor top achievers in academics and sports. St. Lucian students are expected to become more competent in local languages as policymakers work together to address the language of instruction issues in education. The Department of Education, Innovation and Gender Relations aimed to prepare a framework guiding the development of language education policies in St. Lucia following a language policy and instruction conference held at the Golden Palm.
We are all familiar with the results and impacts of not having a national language policy. Concern about the poor performance of students at primary and secondary school levels are always being expressed. There are also the reports that speak to the unacceptable rate of functional illiteracy among our school leavers. The need for curricula that allow for cultural and linguistic diversity, therefore, cannot be overemphasized. To continue as is means that we are continuing to disadvantage our students for whom English is not a first language.
Young people around the island were granted the opportunity to interact with representatives of various local, regional, and international institutions to gain information about furthering their education. The youths were empowered to do so following the hosting of the annual college fair by the Human Resource Development HRD unit of the Department of Education, Innovation, and Gender Relations. The Masha Combined School's readiness to respond to a fire at the school was tested when a fire simulation exercise was conducted on the school compound.
I think it's really worthwhile, and it brings to mind the seriousness of being prepared and having the drills more often than not.
Education District 2 took an aggressive approach to awaken students' passion and interest in the subject area of mathematics. The students were granted the opportunity to test the numeracy and problem-solving skills following the hosting of a mathematics competition. School counselors around the island have been trained to provide psychosocial support to students who were impacted by Hurricane Maria. Efforts to support the program of psychosocial assistance Return to Happiness was undertaken as school counselors engaged in a refresher training program held at the Nemo Conference Room.
So what we do, it's sort of like a group therapy using play strategies, play therapy, etc., where we do this intervention with the children to help them get through that whole process of the trauma that they've experienced and bringing them to this place where they feel a sense of happiness, a sense of hope, and to be able to move on with their lives.
Special needs students from across the island were blessed with a Christmas treat as the 6th annual Digital Festival of Fun was held at the Bossejo Indoor facility. The festival allowed the students to have a fun-filled day of social and sporting activities. Students were given the opportunity to develop innovative environmental solutions to solid waste challenges at the institutions. The school's recovery pilot project targeted 3 schools, namely Bexar Primary School, John Stanley Odlum Secondary School, and the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. The government of St. Lucia officially handed over the Dennery Infant School to the Dennery community at a ceremony held on the school compound. The new school boasts of modern classrooms and amenities and a special education section. The school, constructed by Obi Sado Engineering Services Limited, was funded by the World Bank under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project (DVRP) and is said to be built with a lifespan of some 150 years.
As I present to you on behalf of myself and my community a smart screen TV for your library, I must tell you that one of your members of staff, Ms. Giselle Dantes, approached me and said that in her old school she had a flat screen TV. So how is it in her new school there is no flat screen TV? And she insisted that I share it with the library so that all of her teachers and the students can benefit as well.
The Dennery Infant School, it is said, was built with a lifespan of 150 years. That is certainly an attribute that will make all school officials happy, as the school was constructed to minimize the issues currently faced with other schools as far as maintenance is concerned. With the wonderful amenities installed in the institution, we are sure this will make students and staff alike more comfortable in order to achieve the task at hand. Well, that's how we come to the end of Top Class for the first term of the academic year 2017-2018. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Vinal Neptune. Class dismissed.